for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom here back from the video, and today we bring you guys another pass defense. This one's going to be out of the nickel 3-3-5 formation, and today we're going to be using a key secret adjustment that I always use that is really underrated and really good. Again, we're going to be in the nickel 3-3-5 formation. Now, first things first, we're going to adjust our coach adjustments and our zone drops. Now, you guys see I am in next gen right now, and actually EA somehow didn't have the coaching adjustments in their practice mode for next gen. It is in current gen, but for whatever reason it's not in next gen, so I actually can't adjust them here in practice mode, but we'll still be talking you through them. What you want to adjust your zone drops to is your curl flats to 5 yards and your flats to 20 yards. So again, curl flats on 5 and your flats on 20. I'm going to have to do something different on the play for my zones to kind of play like that, but again, that is what you want to have them at. So like I said, we're in nickel 3-3-5, and again, I am in next gen, but this play still does run the same in current gen. This is still a usable defense in both games. Again, I'm trying to make videos that work in both games because I know a lot of you guys, probably the majority of you guys, do not have the new consoles. So nickel 3-3-5, we're in the 4-6 defensive playbook. Simply just put safeties here at the linebacker position, get the most speed on your field. They're going to be in zones and your users. So that's pretty much it. Play we're running today is Loop Crash 2. Really nice stock play. And yeah, let's just go ahead and hop on the field. Alright, now here we are out on the field. The first adjustment you're going to do is just going to be press your defensive backs, and then we're going to do our secret adjustment. Now, our secret adjustment is going to be the bluff blitz. Now, you can't do it with any linebackers out of 3-3-5, but you can do it with the slot corner. So we're going to do that quick adjust, double tap Y or triangle, press Y or triangle again, and then push that right stick to the right. That's going to put him in a bluff blitz. Now, you notice when he's in a bluff blitz, he can actually go in that 3 receiver hook zone. I think this zone is really good in both games, specifically next gen though, because it's very difficult to user, although it is, still difficult to user in current gen, not as much as next gen. And these 3 receiver hooks really help. They defend crossing routes, they follow them super far. We're actually running a crossing route right now, you will see that. But yeah, it's almost like another user on the field. It's a really good adjustment. Now, because we're in a cover 2 shell, we can do that, but just to show you guys an example, let's audible to a cover 3. I'll make that same adjustment, and you see I can't, when I put my slot corner in a bluff blitz, he's actually going to go into curl flat. Same for pretty much every other defense besides any cover 2 shell. So that's the reason we're in loop crash 2 again. So I'll set up the defense. We have him in a bluff blitz, we pressed. Now we're going to do 2 other adjustments. So the first thing we're going to do is just throw X in a curl flat and A in a curl flat. This is just the first setup. And again, with this style of defense, I wouldn't have to do anything else because, again, my flats, which soft squats are considered just flats. They're going to play 20 yards, and our curl flats would play 5 yards now because, again, we don't have these coach adjustments in practice mode yet. For next gen, what I'm just going to do simply is just throw both these outside linebackers in hard flats. Again, if you're in current gen or any mode, because online you still have your coach adjustments, you can just throw them in curl flats, but for sake of practice mode, I'm going to put them in hard flats, but just pretend that they would look like this. But yeah, that's just pretty much it to start out, and yeah, let's just go ahead and snap the ball. With your user, you're really going to start using things coming from right to left, because again, crossers, posts from left to right will be defended by that bluff blitz. So again, you see that time it picked up the drag, and we were able to simply defend it. You see really quick pressure out of 3-3-5. I love the sheds. Specifically out of this play, I noticed myself getting a lot of block sheds. But yeah, you notice that bluff blitz, if you're watching that slot corner, sometimes I've noticed him follow the crosser. That time he kind of bit down on the drag, allowing us to take the over-the-top route. Also, these soft squats do play good. If you don't adjust your zone drops, you can actually do what I'm doing with these no zone drops adjustments. The soft squats do a nice job of following the receivers, almost like a match coverage assignment if there is no other route in the flat. So you saw them follow that streak and that in route pretty well. So again, we pressed, we threw Y in a bluff blitz, and then we just threw X in a curl flat and A in a curl flat. Again, for the sake of me, I'm putting them in hard flats, but again, if you have those zone drops set, you don't need to do that. If you want to run the style of defense that I'm running, where you kind of have that match coverage, You can actually just throw both those linebackers in hard flats and they will still do the job. But yeah, let's go ahead, have them snap the ball again here. And this time again, you see them pick up the drag really nicely. And we are able to make that play. Now, I notice sometimes when I just go ahead and run it with this curl flats, they will take that crosser. It happened a couple of times. We'll see if it happens here. Just setting it up again really quickly. They didn't, but you see how he's going to follow that drag consistently across the field. Again, I didn't set up the defense the same way. That's why the flats were open, but usually the flats are covered. You have an extra user in the middle of the field. And again, just a simple vert hook's not going to defend the drag. That's why you need that bluff blitz. So let's hop into another defense or just another adjustment. We're going to set up the defense relatively the same, but for this particular one, what we're going to do is keep the bluff blitz. We're going to throw X in a curl flat because he's on the wide side of the field. And then we're going to throw our user in a middle third and actually user green right here on the right. Now, the reason I'm using on the right instead of the left is just because the left's the wide side of the field. You usually want your slot corner on the wide side of the field. And overall, drag routes are usually, in flat zones, are usually going to be on the wide side. Occasionally, they will be on this short side of the field, but then you can actually user. And this is a style of defense that's going to be a little bit more conservative in the sense that the middle of the field is not going to be open. Now, obviously, if your opponent is attacking you in the middle of the field, this is something that you have to do. But until they do that, I usually don't throw a middle third out there. It's really a safe defense, but again, it is still going to be effective. If I wanted to go with an even safer approach where nothing would be open, I could actually throw A in a curl flat as well. So this is just going to be a two-man rush. Two-man rush aren't the worst thing in the game this year. They still are effective, but again, you can get beat deep if you don't get that quick pressure. But yeah, overall, here's a look at the defense you could do. Again, I could just leave A on his blitz as well. So this is our second defensive setup. Again, my curl flats would be playing 5 yards. You see no pressure there. And again, since I forgot to put them in hard flats, they aren't going to defend that. Normally, that would be covered. Again, it's really annoying that EA's lazy developers cannot get their coaching adjustments or simple practice mode feature correct, but you know, it is what it is. We're working with what we got. Might even have to hop into current gen for defensive videos because this is, you know, really annoying. But again, with that second setup, you're throwing Y in a bluff blitz, you're throwing X in a curl flat, and then you're throwing Y in a middle third. Again, for sake of the video right now, I'm going to put him in a hard flat so he defends. And then I can also throw A in a curl flat. Can also shade down to get him in a hard flat, or I can just put him in a hard flat right away. Again, if I have my coaching adjustments, I would normally just throw him in a curl flat. If I wanted to play the style of defense I kind of was, then I can leave him in that hard flat, keep my soft squats on the field or whatever. So here's a look at the defense, what it would look like. And yeah, let's just go ahead, have them snap the ball here. You will see that the drag's going to be covered. We're going to have to go up on the crosser, kind of work down on the dig route, and you see, look at Zadarius Smith. Play that running back route really well. You've noticed that a couple plays where I haven't had the flat zone, it's been open. Now we had the flat, and it's going to defend it really well, even with a defensive lineman. So overall, great coverage defense. Now let's go with a different adjustment. This one's going to be a little bit of man coverage. Now what I like to do is I'm just going to cross-man a couple of players. I like to cross-man Y here, and then I also like to cross-man this middle player on A. So here's a look at my defense. I can also cross-man this linebacker on A if I wanted to go with that and use the middle of the field like this. Now, really the weakness of this defense is going to be the flats, so I can even maybe use her as safety or just completely man up my outside corners. But usually what I would do is, again, I'm going to put my curl flat or my hard flat on that wide side of the field, and we're just going to focus on maybe like an in route or a crossing route or a running back route in that middle of the field. But again, not too often will you see those outside receivers coming inside the field. A lot of times this year I've noticed people will just keep them on like smoke screens or things like that. So it's not too big of a worry. Again, this is a defense that you don't want to run every single down. I will say that. It's something that you really do want to mix in occasionally. Those first two setups you can run a lot, but this one, you know, you've run those setups a lot. You want to mix in something new. This is something that you can do. And yeah, let's just have them snap the ball here. You see the cross man's going to play really, really well. But then again, you are susceptible to that middle of the field, so be careful if they do throw that receiver on an in route. Again, that's a setup I run very risky, but it does have some big play success. A lot of times those crossing routes get covered if you have good enough players right there. You know, we're using low overall safety, so he is going to get burnt on a crosser, but it is a good kind of mix up to the standard zone coverage. So let's go with one more setup here, and it's just going to be a standard setup with Y on a curl flat, A on a curl flat, and then I can throw X in a middle third. User this guy right here. I get my 3 rushers. I get pretty good coverage down the field. I don't have anyone helping me in the middle of the field, but again, I still do get pretty good coverage. Now again, the flats are going to be open because my zone drops are not set. Normally the curl flat zone drops would be open on that. So again, Y on a curl flat, A on a curl flat. In this case, I have to throw them on hard flats, but normally you would be able to put them in curl flats and have success. I could leave that X linebacker on his zone if I feel comfortable leaving the middle of the field open. But again, in next gen, in current gen, the cover 2 shells are typically not good, and you're able to get beat really deep down the field, so be careful about that. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video. Again, I do apologize if this was a little bit confusing just because my zone drops weren't set. In the future, I probably will be going to current gen for defensive videos just because of the fact that I can't set my zone drops in this until it gets fixed. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, hope this helped, and peace. I'm out of here.